Hi guys, Paul Best here and welcome to the Radio Shop Workshop. This is our first YouTube video for a while and it's the start of a new series which is called the Guitar Geekery series. We're going to go into depth on a lot of things. We're going to look at polarity, all sorts of things to do with, mainly pickups. We're a pickup maker. This episode is all about staggers. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate one of our pickup sets, which really sort of addresses this problem. It's 10 years of Radio Shop. We've been doing little celebrations on Instagram and Facebook throughout the year. The one we're celebrating at the moment is the ID63 GT set, which is probably the most unique thing that we do, and we feel like we've answered a problem. Now, whether that problem exists or not is entirely up to you. We're going to look at pickup staggers and talk about that. We're going to look at the radius of fingerboards, how to work it out. We're going to show you how we have counteracted this with the GT set, and we're going to show you putting it in a guitar and then getting some sounds. So I hope you're going to enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, guys, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. Now, guitar staggers, and this is all about the Strat. Traditionally, if you look at here, here's a traditional style pickup. Actually, it's this way around. Now, there is a stagger, really, and there is a sort of curve to it, but there's a lowered B. Everything else is kind of following a curve, but there's a lowered B. And a lot of you will know that's because traditionally, in the 50s and 60s, guitar strings had a different composition. So they tried to offset some of the louder strings by lowering the pole piece in this section. But a lot of those problems now with the composition of strings have gone away, so we don't really need that. But we kind of keep it for traditional pickups as a nod to tradition. And most of us are using pickups which have a lowered B. And most of us may perceive no problem with this. But we, being kind of guitar geeks, we wanted to have a little look at what we could do to counteract this and aim for perfect string-to-string balance. Whether we've achieved it or not, that's entirely up to you. But you'll get some sounds later. Now, the idea behind the ID63 GT set was that instead of having this lowered B, we would actually follow the radius of your fingerboard and give you, well, actually 4 choices. The other thing we wanted to look at as well, if you look at a traditional pickup, the way in which you achieve this, in inverted commas, curve, because we haven't quite got one here, is by using different height pole pieces. So in the middle, the D and the G, we've got an 18 millimeter, obviously. We've got an 18 mil pair of pole pieces, and on the end we have 2 17s, and then we've got a 17.5 here, and we get that curve by having different height pole pieces. And we started thinking, well, technically then, if we've got different mass under each string, we're going to get a different volume per string. So that's one of the things we wanted to look at as well. So the big idea with the ID63 GT set was, what if we actually use the same size pole piece for every string and thus have the same mass of magnetism, if you like, under each string? But of course, then you'd have a flat pickup. So the idea was to stagger through the bottom and actually go through the bottom just by a little bit, because of course it sits under the string, so you're never going to see it. So we stagger through the bottom as well as the top. So every pole piece is 18 millimeters, but I don't know if you can see that, we've actually gone through the bottom a little bit and we've got a curve. Now this one here is a 12-inch set, and you've got 4 choices actually. You've got 12-inch, 7.25 inch, and 9.5 inch. And actually we've been known to do some in 14-inch and 16-inch, and actually the flatter it is, the easier it is for us to make the set. But yeah, that's the big idea. Under each of the strings you have the same height pole piece, so ideally then you would have the same string to string volume, and you can choose the curve to match your fingerboard. So that's the big idea with the GT set. Whether you perceive this string to string thing as being a problem or not, whether you notice things, that's entirely up to you, because a lot of players will use this traditional pickup and never perceive a problem, even if it's there perhaps, but they're just happy with it. So that's entirely up to you. But it's kind of a set for the geeks like ourselves. It's almost like an engineer's type set, or we like to call it a set for the mathematicians, because we've solved a problem Whether it was a problem that needed solving, I don't know. That's up to you. But we like that we've solved this problem with this set. Now, which one do you choose? And what does it sound like? So we're going to answer those questions. But in order for you to actually work out the fingerboard radius for your guitar and choose which one of these you want, you've got a couple of methods of doing it, really. Now, the easiest way is to actually look up, if you know the exact model of your guitar, you should be able to find it in the spec somewhere listed. If it's a current model or even an older model, let's say you have a Fender Stratocaster Classic Series 60 Strat. Quick Google search and you'll probably find the spec of the guitar. It'll say if it's got alder, swamp ash or whatever in the body. It'll tell you a little bit further down, it'll say the fingerboard radius. And there you can find that out. Alternatively, if you want to put a little bit of money behind this, you can get an accurate answer by buying some fingerboard gauges, okay, like these ones here. So radius gauges. The first one I have here is a 9.5. You get your strings off, or you just loosen the strings off, and you come across one of the frets and you find out which one of these basically matches the best. They're quite handy, but yeah, they cost about £10 probably, maybe about $15, or 12 or 13 euros. So, you know, it's a little bit of an investment, but you might find that when you come to do little setups at home that these are actually quite handy. Paul Dunn is going to show us a third way of working out your fingerboard radius just with what you have to hand. We're going to need a nail, some string, a ruler, and some cardboard or paper. Take it away, Paul.
There we go.
There's one he did earlier on.
So, for the card, nail to the bench. Don't have to nail it to the bench, it just makes it easier. Bit of string. 12-inch rule. Again, the one I got's a little bit unwieldy, but it'll do the job. And then what I'm going to do along the string is just mark off the most popular sort of radius settings. 7.25, 9.5 and 12 seem to be the most common radii. Then it's just a matter of putting your marker at that point, scribing that off onto the 9.5, move that, and then onto our 12.
I suppose in a weird way you could just move the paper, couldn't you? But that's worked perfectly. There's the most common ones. And then what would you do now? You cut along the line,
yeah,
but leave a little bit perhaps.
I'd cut basically up those lines. So I cut along there and along there. Then I cut that one out, then cut that one out, then cut that one out, and you've got 3 bits of card, each with their individual
working out your radius. Lovely stuff. Thanks,
yeah,
Paul.
no worries.
I did mention that we have 4 choices, because one of them as well is what we call the vintage adjusted. And what that is some people probably like this look and want to keep it, which is the one with the lowered B. So we've made a set where we still use 18mm magnets, but we actually put it through the bottom as well, and we keep that appearance. So you've still got the same size pull piece under each string, but we've managed to maintain the appearance of a traditional looking set. So that's the one there. It's not as popular as the other ones because I think the main attraction for people with this set is that you can choose the radius to suit your fingerboard. I have already kind of measured it. It's quite handy. Before I started making this video, I'd kind of forgotten what fingerboard radius was with this main Strat that I have. It's an Edwards Japan, and we got the strings off and we found that it was 9.5 inch. So we're going to make a set of 9.5 inch, and then I'm going to get the set in the guitar and let's see what you think. So I'm now in my home workshop and we've got the set in this guitar, the 9.5 inch Stagger version of the GTs. And I'm going to do some playing and just try and keep it simple. I'm not an amazing player, but you know, I'm fairly competent, but hopefully I can show off the range of sounds. And what we're looking for really is the balance of strings. So I'll start off with just some even string playing across all the positions. Well, actually just the main 3. Weirdly, I've got a 3-way switch in here. So We'll just hear the neck, middle and bridge to begin with, and then we'll hear a range of sounds later with a little bit of free playing. So there we have it. I'd be really interested to hear your comments on the set. Now, obviously I don't want to make wild claims, but we feel that the set is a really valid design. You know, we've got the same height pull piece under each string and you've got the choice of radius. And we feel that the balance in the playing sounds great and the string to string volume is great. But I'd love to hear what you think and whether you think we've solved the problem or maybe we've solved a problem that doesn't exist. Entirely up to you. So that's the ID63 GT set. It has Alnico 5 magnets, it has heavy foam var wire, so it's a very classic sound, very sort of 50s and 60s inspired tone. And yeah, from above, looks like a normal pickup set, but there's a little bit more going on under the hood. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.